Hello everyone, welcome to Biology by my Day. Today we are going to discuss an important topic, Sustainable Development Goals. Now what are these Sustainable Development Goals? The 70th session of the UN General Assembly held on 25th September 2015 adopted the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals with 17 goals and 169 targets under the official agenda Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. So what is sustainable development? It is sustainable development goals. Basically, has 17 goals with 169 targets in hand. And it was held on the 70th session UN General Assembly in 2015 with the agenda that is transforming our world, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. India is signatory to this landmark agreement. The 17 SDGs are integrated. They recognize that action in one area will affect the outcome in others and that development must balance social, economic and environmental sustainability. Countries have committed to prioritizing progress for those who are furthest behind. The SDGs are designed to end poverty, hunger, AIDS and discrimination against women and girls. Now officially SDG came into effect in 1st January 2016. Now, what is 2030 agenda and the SDGs? Now, what are the three principal factors including the 2030 agenda? Universality implies that goals and targets are relevant to all government and actors, that it is a universal goal which has to achieve by all. Integration. Policy integration means balancing all 3D dimensions. That is, this is an integrated goal. That is, it will be covering social, economic and environmental protection factors. No one left behind includes that the countries should go beyond averages. The SDGs should benefit all, eradicating poverty and reducing inequalities. Now, what are the structure of goals, targets and indicators? As we know that there are 17 goals with 169 targets and 231 indicators. So each goal has a specific target to be achieved and each target has to be measured by an indicator. That is, the progress of the goal has to be achieved by the indicators. So these are the 17 goals with 169 targets and these targets have 231 indicators. Now these are the SDGs, these are the goals, 17 goals of SDGs. Firstly is no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation and infrastructure, reduced inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, life below water, life on land, peace, justice and strong institutions, and lastly partnership for the goals. So we'll get to know these 17 SDGs one by one. So firstly is no poverty. So the first goal of SDG is no poverty. The first of 17 SDGs aim to eradicate extreme poverty for all people everywhere by 2030 agenda. That is Agenda 2030. It includes that everyone should be able to eradicate, or every country should be able to eradicate extreme poverty by 2030. So poverty is a multidimensional issue and this goal focuses on creating policies that address income generation, access to basic services and social protection. India is committed to reducing poverty by promoting social and economic inclusion through various programs and schemes. So as you know that each goal has a specific targets with specific indicators. So this goal has 7 targets with 13 indicators. Now these are the targets to be achieved by this goal. Firstly, it is ensure mobilization resources to end poverty, then support investment in poverty eradication. By 2030, eradicate extreme poverty. By 2030, half people in poverty, half percent of people should be there by 2030 in poverty. Implement social protection schemes, ensure equal right resources, basic services, build resilience, reduce vulnerability. So these are the 7 targets which are to be achieved by the first goal. Now the second goal is zero hunger. The second goal aims to end hunger, achieve food security, and promote sustainable agriculture. Zero hunger involves agricultural productivity increasing, improving the resilience of food systems, and ensuring access to nutritious and sufficient food for all. India plays a significant role in achieving this goal by implementing policies and programs to achieve food security and agricultural sustainability. So the SDG second has 8 targets with 14 indicators. Now these are the targets which are to be achieved by this goal. Firstly, increase investment to enhance agriculture, agricultural market, ensure functioning food, end hunger, and ensure access to food and all forms of malnutrition, double productivity and incomes, ensure sustainable food production items, maintain genetic diversity of plants. So in this goal, we have to achieve zero hunger. Zero hunger is where everyone achieves quality food. Everyone should get quality food with lowest form of malnutrition, or malnutrition should be end. So these are all the targets which are to be achieved by zero hunger. Now comes the good health and well-being, that is goal number 3. As we all know that health is more important than wealth, and you cannot enjoy good health without you cannot enjoy wealth without good health. So the third goal seeks to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all regardless of age. This involves reducing maternal and child mortality, fighting against communicable and non-communicable diseases, and promoting mental health. So how good health would be achieved? Good health would be achieved by reducing maternal and child mortality, as the cases are very much in case of maternal and child mortality, so we need to reduce that. Fighting against communicable and non-communicable diseases and promoting mental health. India has made significant strides in improving healthcare access and outcomes, contributing to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. Now, this goal has 13 targets with 28 indicators. Now, these are the targets of the third goal. So firstly, it is implementation, WHO and tobacco control. That is, tobacco, as we all know, is injurious to health. So we need to control that. Then support research in vaccines and medicine. As we have seen that during COVID, the demand for vaccine was very much. So we need to promote that research which are useful for developing vaccines which are used to cure diseases. Increase health financing and workforce, strengthen capacity, reduce global maternal mortality ratio, and preventable deaths of children under 5. That is, we need to know that children basically who do not get good food die, which are below the age of 5. So we need to end that death. End epidemics of communicable diseases. We need to end the epidemics which are caused by the communicable diseases. Reduce mortality, non-communicable diseases. Non-communicable diseases से भी mortality जो होती है उसको भी हमें reduce करना है. Prevent treatment substance abuse. Half number deaths, injuries, traffic accident. Reproductive health ensure करनी है हमें. Achieve universal health coverage, reduce number of death, illness, production. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under goal number 3. Now comes quality education. In India, as we all know, padhega India, tabhi to badhega India. So we all need to do that. We can achieve this quote by only receiving quality education. So the fourth goal aims to provide inclusive and equitable quality education as well as promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. SDG education focuses on increasing access to education, improving learning outcomes, and reducing gender disparities in educational opportunity. So how quality education would be achieved? So some factors are important which have to be considered. So firstly, we need that increasing access to education. That is, everyone should get education. Where he or she is living in a rural area or an urban area, everyone should receive education. Then improving learning outcomes. That what are the outcomes? We need to improve that. Reducing gender disparity. That is, no one should be left behind. That is, there should be equal opportunities for both men and women to receive quality education. India has made considerable progress in this area through various policies and initiatives. Now this SDG has 10 targets with 11 indicators. Now, these are the targets which are to be achieved under quality education. So, firstly, how we will achieve? That is, build, upgrade education facilities. We need to upgrade the education facilities which are there. Expand number of scholarships so that everyone could be able to achieve education. Increase the supply of qualified teachers. There is a lack of qualified teachers. So we need to increase the supply of qualified teachers so that we can ensure quality education. Ensure free, equitable and quality education. Ensure access early childhood development. Ensure equal access to women education. Increase youth skills employment. Eliminate gender disparities. ensure youth achieve literacy and numeracy, and ensure learners acquire skills to promote sustainable development goals. So these are the targets of the quality education. Now comes gender equality. So now goal number 5 is gender equality. The fifth goal strives to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. That is, women and girls should not be left behind and must be given equal rights. So there should not be any gender disparity. This is the aim of gender equality goal. This goal addresses various forms of discrimination, violence, and harmful practices against women. So this goal basically focuses on the abolishment of the processes which are what? Which are making women growth, which are hindering women growth. So this includes discrimination, violence, and harmful practices against women, while also promoting women's participation in leadership roles and decision making. India has been working towards gender equality through policies, legislation, and awareness campaigns. So this SDG has 9 targets with 14 indicators. Now these are the targets of quality, women, gender equality. So firstly, we'll start for reform for women, equal rights and resources, enhance the use of enabling technology, adopt policies promotion gender equality and discrimination against women and girls, eliminate violence against women and girls, eliminate child marriage, genital mutilation, value unpaid care and domestic work, as we do not give value to our housewives or homemakers, so we need to value those unpaid care and domestic work. Ensure women equal opportunities leadership and reproductive health, ensure universal access. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under goal 5, that is gender equality. Now comes goal number 6, that is clean water and sanitation, which is a very important goal which is related to hygiene and health. So the sixth goal aims to ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. As in India, we have stopped that open defecation system, which is very much required for achieving this goal, that is clean water and drinking sanitation. India has undertaken numerous initiatives to improve access to clean water and sanitation, contributing to the UN SDGs. This goal has 8 targets and 11 indicators. Now, these targets are water sanitation, expand capacity and support participation local communities water, achieve access safe drinking water for all, that is safe drinking water must be for all people. Ensure equitable sanitation hygiene, improve water quality, that is clean water should be available for all. Ensure increasing water use efficiency, implementation, integrated water resource management all levels, protect and restore water related ecosystems जो हमारे उनको restore करना. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under the goal clean water and sanitation. Now comes goal number 7, that is affordable and clean energy. The 7th goal seeks to ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable and modern energy for all. This includes increasing the share of renewable energy, improving energy efficiency and ensuring universal access to clean energy services. India has made significant progress in expanding its renewable energy capacity and promoting energy efficiency. So we need to ensure that clean energy or renewable energy has been improved. That is has been accessed properly. This comes under affordable and clean energy. This goal has 5 targets and progress is measured by 6 indicators. So the targets of this goal is, firstly, we need to facilitate access to clean energy research. Then comes expand supply of sustainable energy, that is solar energy, water energy, and wind energy. Ensure universal access to energy services. Increase share renewable energy. We need to increase the share of renewable energy. Double improvement energy efficiency. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under this goal. Now comes decent work and economic growth. So the 8th goal aims to promote sustained, inclusive and sustainable economic growth, full and productive employment and decent work for all. This involves improving labor market conditions, supporting internships and fostering innovation. India has implemented various policies and programs to boost economic growth, create jobs, and enhance workers' rights. So this goal has 12 targets with 17 indicators. What are the targets? Firstly, we'll get to know what are the targets for this eighth goal, that is good jobs and economic growth. Increase aid for trade support, enable strategy youth employment. Youth employment is very necessary. So we need to achieve this by this goal. Sustain per capita economic growth, achieve higher levels of economical productivity, promote development oriented policies, improve resource efficiency, achieve full and productive employment, reduce youth not in employment or education, eradicate forced child labor. As we know that the cases of child labor are very high, so we need to eradicate that. Protect labor rights, safe working, protect labor rights, safe working, and policies to promote sustainable tourism. And lastly, expand access to financial education. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under the eighth goal. Now comes the ninth goal, that is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So it starts with focusing on building resilient infrastructure, promoting inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and fostering innovation. That is 3 I's, which includes the industry, innovation, and infrastructure. That is, industry should be there with innovation, and infrastructure should be developed. This supports includes increasing access to information and communication technology, supporting research and development, and promoting sustainable industrial practices. India has been investing in infrastructure development and promoting a culture of innovation to achieve this goal. Now, this goal has 8 targets with 12 indicators. Now, what are the targets? Firstly, facilitate sustainable resilient infrastructure. So we need to have proper infrastructure. Support domestic technological development. We have to have ensure technology. Increase access to communication technology. Develop quality resilient infrastructure. Promote sustainable industrialization. That are the 3 pillars of this goal is industry, innovation, and infrastructure. So we need to industrialize. Increase enterprises financial services access, upgrade infrastructure, retrofit industries, upgrade research capacity industry. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under this goal. Now comes the 10th goal, that is reduced inequality. So under this goal, we need to reduce inequality within and among countries by promoting social, economic, and political inclusion. That is, we need to reduce the inequalities among the countries. This involves ensuring equal opportunities, eliminating discriminatory policies, and fostering global partnerships for development. India has been working to reduce income inequality and promote social inclusion through various policies and programs. Now this has 10 targets with 11 indicators. Now what are the targets to be achieved? Implement differential treatment, encourage and financial flows, decrease transaction, sustain economic growth, promote inclusion, ensure equal opportunity, adopt fiscal wage and social protection policy, improve regulation global financial markets, enhance voice in global financial institution, and facilitate safe migration and mobility. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under this goal. Now comes the 11th goal, that is sustainable cities and communities. So we need to have sustainable cities and communities. The 11th goal seeks to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. This involves ensuring access to affordable housing, improving urban planning, and enhancing the sustainability of cities. India has launched several initiatives to address urbanization challenges and promote sustainable urban development. Now, what happens in sustainable cities in India? There is GRIH rated reforms for the green building. And this happens, GRIH used to give ratings for these green buildings under a 5-star rating program, that how much energy efficient, how much clean water is there, how much healthy it is. So all these factors are included in this GRIH. So these are the policies which are made to have sustainable cities. So in this goal, we have 10 targets which has to be achieved with 15 indicators to measure the progress. Now these are the targets. support links urban, peri-urban and rural areas. That is, no one should be left behind. That is, we need to link the urban, peri-urban and rural areas. Increase adoption city integrated policies, support LDCs building resilient buildings, ensure access safe housing services, provide access sustainable transport, enhance inclusive and sustainable urbanization. Urbanization should be acceptable only when it is sustainable. Protect, safeguard cultural and natural heritage, which is a very important factor. We need to conserve or protect our natural heritage. Reduce deaths, losses due to disasters. We need to, like in case of earthquake, we need to make, how we can make our building? We need to make our building shock resistant so that we can reduce the deaths which are caused due to the disasters. Reduce per capita city environmental impact and provide access green public spaces. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under sustainable communities and cities. Now comes goal number 12, responsible consumption and production. तो जो हमारा consumption और production हो रहा है वो कैसा हो? Responsible हो. The 12th goal aims to ensure sustainable consumption and production patterns by promoting resource efficiency, reducing waste and encouraging sustainable business practices. तो हमारा consumption production कैसा होना चाहिए? Sustainable होना चाहिए, waste reduce करे वो और sustainable business practices को promote करें. India has been working to implement sustainable production and consumption practices through various policies, regulation and awareness campaigns. Now this goal has 11 targets which has to be measured by 13 indicators. Now these are the targets. Firstly, support and strengthen SCP, develop sustainable consumption and production, develop tools, monitor impacts, sustainable tourism, rationalize inefficient fossil fuel subsidies जो हमारी होती हैं उसको rationalize करना, implement 10-year program on SCP, that is sustainable production and consumption, achieve sustainable management resources, half per capita global food waste हमारा जो होता है वो क्या होना चाहिए? नहीं होना चाहिए, which can be achieved as in China we know, that is zero plate, zero waste plate. That is, we need to know that we don't waste the food, so we can halve the per capita global food waste, achieve sound management of chemicals, reduce waste generation, then encourage adoption of sustainable practices, promote sustainable public procurement, and lastly ensure into lifestyles in harmony with nature. Now the 13th goal is climate action. So we need to have action for protection of climate. So the third goal focuses on taking urgent action to combat climate change. Various methods should be adopted to combat the changes in climate, that is combat climate change and its impact. How we can achieve this? By reducing greenhouse gas emissions, enhancing climate resilience and supporting climate adaptation efforts. तो कैसे हो सकता है ये हमारा कैसे हो सकता है? कि पहले तो हम ग्रीन हाउस गैस एमिशंस को कंट्रोल करें, रिड्यूस करें, देन एनहांसिंग क्लाइमेट रेजिलियंस, क्लाइमेट को रेजिलियंस बनाए ताकि वो किसी भी तरीके के शॉक को बर्दाश्त कर सके. India has been actively involved in international climate negotiation and has implemented various domestic initiatives to address climate change. Now this goal has 5 targets and each target has 1 or more indicators. Now these are the targets. Firstly, it is implementation of UNFCCC commitment, then promote mechanism for carbon management, then strengthen resilience to carbon causing hazards and disasters, integrate climate change measures in policy, improve capacity on climate change. So these are the targets which are to be achieved in climate action. India has been working to protect its marine resources and ecosystem through various conservation and sustainable management efforts. Now this goal has 10 targets and 10 indicators to be achieved. What are the targets? Increase research capacity and marine technology so that we can govern the marine ecosystems so that the species which are residing are not able to die. Provide access for small-scale artisanal fisher, implement UN Convention Law of the Sea, prevent and reduce marine pollution, manage and protect marine and coastal ecosystem, address impacts of ocean acidification, restore fish stocks, conserve 10% coastal and marine areas, prohibit certain forms of fisheries subsidies, increase benefit from sustainable use marine. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under this goal. Now comes life on land. Now after protecting water, we need to protect the species which are residing on land. That is the terrestrial ecosystem, and that were the aquatic ecosystem. So the 15th goal focuses on protecting, restoring and promoting sustainable use of terrestrial ecosystems, halting biodiversity loss and combating desertification. So how the life on land can be protected? By halting biodiversity loss, that is we need to conserve the biodiversity through in situ and ex situ methods, that is national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, biosphere reserves, and combating desertification. That is, we need to restore the ecosystems which have been deserted. India has made significant efforts in forest conservation, wildlife protection, and promoting sustainable land management practices, which are used to reduce the desertification. Now, this has 12 targets with 14 indicators. Now, what are these targets? Firstly, mobilize financial resources for biodiversity. Firstly, it includes for conserving the biodiversity. Then comes mobilize resources for forest management. We need to manage the forest resources. Then combat trafficking of protected species, ensure conservation and ecosystem and services, promote sustainable management of forest, achieve land degradation neutrality, ensure conservation of mountain ecosystem. So we need to ensure that mountain ecosystems are also conserved. Reduce degradation of natural habitats, ensure fair sharing benefit genetic resources and trafficking of protected species, reduce impact invasive alien species. जैसे हमारी invasive alien species क्या है, water hyacinth वगैरह है. So we need to reduce that impact. Integrate ecosystem biodiversity values. So these are the targets of this goal, that is life on land. We need to protect the terrestrial ecosystems through these targets. Now secondly comes the lastly comes the goal number 16, peace and justice, strong institutions. So this goal seeks to promote peaceful and inclusive societies, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable and inclusive institutions. So we need to ensure peaceful and inclusive societies and justice for all through this goal. Now this goal has 12 targets with 23 indicators. Now what are these targets? Firstly, it comes strengthen relevant national institutions, enforce non-discriminatory policy. How this can be achieved? When there is no discrimination. So non-discrimination, through non-discrimination policy we can achieve peace. Reduce all forms of violence and related death. Violence से जितनी भी डेथ हो रही है उसको रिड्यूस करना. एंड ऑल फॉर्म्स ऑफ वायलेंस अगेंस्ट चिल्ड्रन. और ये कैसे होगा? जब हम चिल्ड्रन के अगेंस्ट भी वायलेंस बंद करें. एंश्योर इक्वल एक्सेस टू जस्टिस. जस्टिस शुड बी सर्व टू ऑल. Reduce illicit financial and arms flows. Reduce corruption and bribery, which is a very important goal which has to be achieved in India. So we need to reduce corruption and bribery, develop effective and accountable institutions, ensure participatory decision making, broaden participation in global governance, and finally providing legal identity to all and ensuring public access to information. So these targets can be achieved through this goal, that is peace, justice and strong institutions. Now comes the last goal, that is goal number 17, partnerships to achieve the goal. We need to have partnerships to achieve the goal. The 17th goal emphasizes the importance of global partnerships to support and achieve SDGs. Now how this can be achieved? By enhancing international cooperation, promoting sustainable development investment and fostering multi-stakeholder partnerships. Now this goal has 19 targets and 25 indicators. Now the targets which are to be achieved under this goal are strengthen domestic resource mobilization, implement commitments, mobilize additional financial resources, assist long-term sustainability, implement investment promotion regimes, enhance access to science and technology. Environmentally sound technologies, that is, it must be sustainable technology which should not be causing any kind of pollution or any kind of harm to the environment. Enable capacity building mechanism, enhance effective targeted capacity building, promote non-discriminatory trading, increase exports of developing countries, realize duty-free and quota-free market access, enhance global macroeconomic stability, enhance policy coherence, and respect countries' policy space and leadership. So these are the targets which are to be achieved under this goal. The implementation framework of SDG. So how SDGs are implemented in India? So in India, Niti Aayog is the nodal body for implementation of these SDG. So here we go. Niti Aayog is the nodal agency in India which is responsible for the task of coordinating work on SDGs by adopting a synergistic approach. Now at the state level, planning departments are the nodal department for the implementation of SDG. And what was that goal which India has made significant efforts in achieving that goal? It is goal number 13, which includes climate action. So, India in recent year has made significant efforts in achieving this goal in particular. So, this is all we have for SDGs. I hope you might have liked. If you like, please do subscribe and share with your friends. Till then, take care and goodbye. We will meet in our next video.